Hello, I am Mrs. Coe, and this is an introduction to Earth Science and something called the modern classroom. So before you go any further, make sure you have a copy of the notes and the manual, and we're going to use those throughout the video. So it may not be a manual in this case for the first unit. You're going to have that packet for the first unit, but for most units, I think there's 8 of them. 7 of them, you're going to have a manual. All right, so number 1, the modern classroom lecture structure, how I'm going to have this set up. Okay, so what you guys are going to learn about this. Why am I doing this modern classroom? What is it going to look like when you come into the class? Objectives for you to figure out. I can describe what my modern classroom is and how my Earth Science class will operate throughout the year. All right, so lesson structure. We're going to have a blended instruction with flexible paced structure and mastery based. So that blended, you guys are going to be accessing content through my videos just like this. And then it's going to be kind of flexible. This doesn't mean wait till the last moment, but students get to learn at your own pace within each unit of study. There will be deadlines. You will have to get everything done by a certain time, but you have a little bit of freedom to work within what you're doing. And if it's a little bit harder for you, you can take a little bit longer. If it's easier for you, you're going to go through it a little bit faster. And this last thing, this mastery based, you're going to progress. You're going to move on to the next topic when you've hit mastery, when you've demonstrated that you understand the concepts that I'm trying to teach you. All right, so daily routine. What you're going to see is when you come in, I'm going to have agenda on the board at the start of each class. The agenda is going to tell you, what's going on. It's going to have the DIN, the do it now, which you're going to access the write-up online. And then after that, I'm going to switch down and we're going to see how you're progressing in class. Everybody's going to get to see where they are, if they're on pace, if they're behind, if they're ahead, if they need to do mastery checks, and so on. Classwork. So this is going to be dependent on where you are in the lesson. It's going to usually start out, you're going to watch a video like this and you're going to take notes. And there's going to be some questions in there. And if you finish that, you can move on to working on the practice work. Now, am I going to require you to do the practice work by yourself? No. You can work with other people. However, if you ask somebody else for help or somebody else asks you for help, you are not allowed to touch their paper. You're allowed to work on yours, but you're not allowed to touch their work. They are working on their stuff. Vice versa, you are not allowed to give your paper to somebody else for them to work on. You have to work on it yourself. Usually, a lot of the units, I have labs, and there's a lot of labs for that unit. So after you get the videos and notes done, which you need to do first, you then do the practice work just to get, a little bit of a handle on what's going on, and then you're going to have a lab to work on. You may have another thing to work on in between, and then you're going to take that mastery check, which is like a mini quiz. When you go to take that mastery check, you are not going to be allowed to have any notes or anything with you. You're by yourself. It's 3 to 4 questions. All right. So parts of each lesson, and I kind of just went over a little bit. Video and guided notes. First assignment for each lesson will almost always be this short instructional video. While you watch, you will take notes on the guided notes, the skeletal notes that I give you in your manual. Practice assessment. Each lesson will have at least one required practice assignment before you complete and build your skills. You can collaborate with your classmates during this part of the lesson. Again, the caveat, you're not allowed to touch each other's stuff. Each lesson may also have accompanying activities or labs that support your learning. And then finally, your mastery check. After you practice your work, you get your labs done, you take the mastery check. It's a very short quiz, and it shows me whether you understood it or not. If you did not, you're going to go back and do the back and do some more practice, which you'll see in the manual when I get there. All right, so Unit 0, Intro to Earth Science, is going to look something like this, where I have classroom structure, the expectations, email etiquette. These are all going to be the first 3 mini lessons that I do with you guys, mini topics, all right? So again, in the Google Classroom, you'll go up to where it says classwork, and in the classwork, it'll say Unit 0, and I'll usually put like right here if it's in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. I may even put on if it's the first 5 weeks. All right, the stream is reserved for announcements only. I do not do comments in them. I will announce stuff. All videos and practice assignments for each lesson are listed under the classwork tab. Assignments should be done in order. Don't think you can skip and just skip right to the mastery check, because I'm going to check to make sure you've done everything. You need to do everything before you get there, and it's in sequence so that you can understand what you're doing. Public tracker, that's going to be on the front of the board. Again, your name's going to be here, what part of the lesson on. If you're on PACE, it'll be right here. And this just is kind of a key. You'll see it up on the board. So I have these set up for you. These are unit guides where you can do little checklists. I even have some grades on where you can plug in the grades. It'll tell you the target date. That's my date that I want everything due. And it'll look just very similar to these. These are must-dos. You must do them to get to the mastery check. There are some should-dos. So say you fail the mastery check, you go back and you do the should-dos. All right, if you attempt the mastery check but are unsuccessful, you will need to review your notes, and possibly the video, complete additional practice. After that, when you feel prepared and ready, you can take that second check. If you are not successful on that one, you will need to meet with me individually to discuss what you're going to do next. So like this, watch notes, watch video, take notes, practice, labs, mastery check. Ooh, you didn't get it. So you got to revise, go back to the should-dos. The should-dos you can do at any point in time. They're not the must-dos. The must-dos you have to do. The should-dos, if you don't feel like you're up to par to take that mastery check, you are more than welcome to do the should-dos. However, if you take the mastery check and you're not successful, you got to revise. You got to go back and you got to do those should-dos. If you pass it and you're really good with it, you move on to the next lesson. All right, so that's it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I hope you guys have a great day.